What is up, nation? Today we are here for our Royal Rumble predictions. The Royal Rumble this Saturday night. Only 4 matches on the show, but possibility maybe we're going back to 2 minutes between each entry in the Rumble matches. That's no speculation. I'm just bringing that up since there's only 4 matches on the show, but it's the Rumble, usually a smaller match card anyway. But we're gonna run down everything today. Road to WrestleMania officially begins this week. I'm amped up. I hope you guys are too. Let's get into the predictions. Alright, so we will obviously save the Royal Rumble matches for last. Let's kick things off with the United States Championship match. Logan Paul defending against Kevin Owens. This is a matchup that we pretty much saw coming for the most part over the last, not even just throughout, January, but just the last couple of months. It seemed obviously, honestly, like in November, we were kind of eyeing up, like maybe Logan Paul and Kevin Owens, maybe at Survivor Series, but if not, definitely at the Rumble. It just seemed like one of the obvious matches for Logan Paul throughout his United States Championship reign on SmackDown if it wasn't going to be the match for WrestleMania, and I don't think it was ever going to. I do believe Logan Paul will win this matchup and retain the United States Championship. I'm sure it's going to be a banger. Logan Paul, Kevin Owens in there, no reason it shouldn't be. But I definitely see Logan Paul taking that title into WrestleMania, and I honestly see him defending it. And plans could change, remains to be seen, but I honestly see Logan Paul and LA Knight being the match for WrestleMania. We have said this for months here on the channel. It just seems like the obvious go-to matchup, man. Those two had definitely some cool interactions in the lead up to Money in the Bank last year, and I think there's definitely something there that a lot of people want to see, including myself, for a one-on-one matchup. And LA Knight, that is a championship, a singles championship that he can definitely hold in the near future, that being the United States Championship. Logan Paul to defeat Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble. Logan Paul to take that title into WrestleMania. Where Kevin Owens goes for WrestleMania, I have no idea. I mean, make your freaking guesses. It's easy to say, throw him against this guy, throw him against that guy, but it's WrestleMania. We want to do something a little bit more exciting, I'd assume, for WrestleMania. When it comes to Randy Orton, I don't just want to see him go one-on-one with Solo Sikoa. A couple of weeks ago, I might have told you that, but then they ran the match on SmackDown, and now I don't need to see it at WrestleMania anymore. I know it's off topic of this, but just talking about there's some names that I don't know where they're going to end up on WrestleMania, and Kevin Owens is one of them. Remains to be seen, but as for this Saturday, Logan Paul to retain the United States Championship. And then we are going to roll right into the fatal 4-way match for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. Roman Reigns defending against AJ Styles, LA Knight, and Randy Orton. Very simple. Roman Reigns is retaining this title. I know there's been speculation for weeks, people throwing out ideas online like, this is the chance for WWE to take down Roman Reigns without him having to get pinned. I don't see that happening at all. I don't think Randy Orton is winning the title. I don't think we're going to Roman and Rock non-title, if anything, at WrestleMania. When it comes to this Fatal 4-Way, I'm honestly glad we're getting a Fatal 4-Way, something different in Roman Reigns' title reign that we haven't seen in a while. Very much looking forward to that. But as for the winner on Saturday night, AJ Styles doesn't stand a chance. LA Knight doesn't stand a chance. Randy Orton stands like 0.1% chance. Like he's not winning, is what I'm trying to say. You could throw out the ideas, Orton versus Cody for the title. It's not happening. In just my personal opinion, you can feel free to have yours. I'm sure it's going to be a banger match, but Roman Reigns is winning, no doubt about it. I'm sure Solo will get involved. I'm sure Jimmy Uso will get involved, and maybe coming out of this matchup, we'll have a little bit more idea on some of the direction for some of these other guys, AJ, Orton, and LA Knight, going into WrestleMania. But as for Saturday, Roman Reigns to retain the Undisputed Championship. And then we're going to jump into the Women's Royal Rumble match. Man, I feel like we've been talking about these Royal Rumble matches here on the channel since like May, June. Like we have made so many videos talking about WrestleMania and the Royal Rumble like 10 months out. Like immediately after last year's WrestleMania, we start speculating on what could happen at this year's. Now here we are at the Rumble. Finally time to make those final predictions. Honestly, there's a couple of options for the Women's Royal Rumble. Maybe just as much, if not more, than the Men's Royal Rumble, because I do think there's some great options in the men's as well, which is great. I love the unpredictability of both of these matches, and I honestly think both Rumbles have the chance to be some of our best Royal Rumble matches of all time, you know, with the current roster, obviously, that's already in there. Maybe some NXT talent. I don't need surprise entrants. Everyone's always like, oh, who's going to be the surprise? I'm like, there could be zero surprises. I don't care. I think you'd have a great Royal Rumble without like, oh my God, Hall of Famer came out. Like, that's just me, especially with the women. Like, every good Hall of Famer has already made multiple appearances in Women's Royal Rumble. Like, I'm good. I'm just saying. But nonetheless, when it comes to the winner of the Women's Royal Rumble match, let's just run down some of the names who I think have a chance, and then I'll give you guys my final prediction. Becky Lynch, obviously. Becky and Rhea has been, you know, talked about for WrestleMania since, I don't even know, summertime. Like, they were being kept apart for so long. There was like one tease of Becky versus Rhea, like maybe in the lead up to last year's Royal Rumble. I just remember them going face to face in the aisleway and then nothing coming about it. Becky and Rhea, they've been kept apart for some time. Just starting to tease that on Raw recently. Becky versus Rhea, definitely somewhere we could be going for WrestleMania. Obviously, there is Bayley as well, and no, I don't think Bayley will be challenging Rhea Ripley if she does win this matchup, like she's been alluding to on television. Obviously, if Bayley wins, we all expect some kind of Damage Control split, whether she defects from the group or Damage Control turns on her, and we get Bayley and Io Sky at WrestleMania. Just like, you know, Becky Lynch, that's a chance of happening, whether it's through the Rumble or through the Elimination Chamber. I think Bianca Belair as well, definitely not to fight Io Sky again at WrestleMania, but I would not be opposed to Bianca versus Rhea at WrestleMania. I think that is maybe one of the just best quality matches you can, like, I think that'd be a better match than Becky versus Rhea. And I'm sure Becky and Rhea would tear down the house as well, but Bianca versus Rhea, definitely something. I thought that was the way they should have went last year, but then, you know, they gave us Rhea and Charlotte, and obviously it was a banger. But if they went Bianca versus Rhea, would not be opposed. Liv Morgan as well has been on the shelf since the summertime, was put out by Rhea Ripley, so there's a built-in storyline there. I know some people have said Liv versus Rhea, not really a WrestleMania match. I mean, I'm not disagreeing nor agreeing, but I think if you build up this story, it could definitely feel like a WrestleMania match. Liv versus Rhea. Liv, one of the most popular, I would say, woman stars in the division, so if she returns, I'd be down for that. And the wild card, and this is a wild card, but, you know, people have been speculating this for months, or, you know, at least the last, you know, month and chains. Where is Sasha Banks, Mercedes Moné going to show up? Will she be back in WWE? Will she go to AEW? Will she go to TNA? So many chances for her to debut or return in AEW or TNA at this point. They haven't happened, but the one date that everybody's looking towards, for a WWE return is the Royal Rumble. Will it happen on Saturday? It might. It might not. I have no idea. And Sasha could easily return and not win the thing. I would not be opposed to that either. But if she does happen to return, she definitely is immediately, you know, a wild card to win that thing. I would love to see Sasha versus Rhea at WrestleMania. I think that'd be a banger. Or Sasha versus Io, even though I don't think that would happen. But let me narrow this down to my top two picks. I'm going to do the same thing for the men. And it's really out of the names I said, I think we probably get Becky. If we get Becky versus Rhea, I would prefer Becky to win the Elimination Chamber. And I'm going to say the same thing for the men. I just like new winners in the women in both Royal Rumble matches. And if we get, you know, a repetitive winner, I'm not going to hear a complaint out of me. If Cody wins again, if Becky wins again, hey, no problem. I just prefer a different winner, especially because we have the Elimination Chamber and we can use that for a Becky or Cody or whoever to get to WrestleMania as well. So I'm going to take Becky Lynch out of my personal running. My top two names to predict to win the Women's Royal Rumble will be Bayley #1 and Liv Morgan #2. I definitely think Liv will be back on Saturday, and I do think she is a dark horse to win this matchup, but I think Bayley is one of the favorites. Bayley versus Io Sky, definitely I think it makes its way onto the WrestleMania card. So I'm going Bayley #1, Liv Morgan #2. We'll see what happens on Saturday night. And then we'll jump right into the men's Royal Rumble matchup. Same graphic. There's only one for both Rumbles on WWE.com. What can I do? What can I do? But let's get into the options for the men's Royal Rumble. I'm sorry I keep looking down. I gotta refer to the notes. Obviously, let's get into the obvious. CM Punk on the list. If CM Punk wins this match, he's going on to fight Seth Rollins at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. Cody Rhodes win this match, he's going on to fight Roman Reigns for the Undisputed Championship. Gunther has not only been a name who just popped up in the discussion on television on Monday night, that was a name we were saying here on the channel literally last spring. And now today, the day I'm filming this, what is today, Wednesday, I believe, Sports Illustrated saying Gunther is going to fight Seth Rollins, and they're going Punk versus Cody. I don't believe that for a second. I think Triple H is going to become more and more the king, no pun intended, of feeding misinformation to, the dirt sheets. They did the same thing with CM Punk's return. They might have been doing the same thing with Sasha Banks' return. I don't believe, what you read on the internet for a second, and I would recommend you don't either. Doesn't mean Gunther doesn't have a chance, but just because, that rumor is out there in the mill today doesn't mean that's where they're heading. But Gunther, as we've been talking about since last spring, definitely a option to win this matchup, Intercontinental Champion. And I would prefer him to lose the Intercontinental title if he's going for a world title at WrestleMania, or even fighting Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, but that's another, discussion for another time. Sami Zayn was a guy we brought up a couple of months ago to win this thing, but that was before CM Punk came back. And ever since Punk came back, I just can't see really anybody else besides Punk going for that world title at WrestleMania. And that's even Gunther, man. Like, unless Punk was fighting Stone Cold Steve Austin, which in that case, it's like, okay, well, obviously you're going to do that matchup above all else. But like, outside of that, there's nothing, even a Cody match, like, there's nobody I see more of a bigger matchup for Seth Rollins at WrestleMania than CM Punk. That's including Gunther, and that includes Sami Zayn. Even though a couple of months ago I sat here and told you I really felt like we were planting the seeds for Sami Zayn to go on a big trip to WrestleMania and win the world title, and maybe that's where we were originally going to head, and then CM Punk came back and derailed the whole thing. Either way, I would expect Sami Zayn to be back in the Royal Rumble on Saturday night. Maybe we're going to get Sami and Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. I don't know. You can take your discussion wherever if you think that's a big WrestleMania match or not. Hell, it could be a good one. I'm sure it would be a good one. Maybe it's an Extreme Rules match since it's in Philadelphia. But Sami Zayn making a return. He's like a super dark horse to win the thing. And then ultimately, you got The Rock. And I don't think The Rock is going to win the Royal Rumble matchup. Is Rock versus Roman a potential for WrestleMania 40? Absolutely. Is it a potential for the Elimination Chamber? Absolutely. It is a potential title or non-title for WrestleMania 41. Absolutely. And I prefer that. I prefer, and people are starting to pick up on this the last few days as well, Roman and Rock, if it's not going to take place at Elimination Chamber, just do it next year. Do it at 41. Like, oh, Rock's going to be older. He'll be all right. Like, he's still going to be in shape. He's working with Roman. They'll make it through. Dude, Undertaker was out there freaking older than The Rock and putting on, shows. So, like, The Rock will be all right at WrestleMania 41 next year. I honestly am not too worried about The Rock winning the Royal Rumble match this Saturday night. And I'm a fan of The Rock, but, like, I even will admit, like, that's not the direction we need to be heading. Rock versus Roman, Cody versus Punk, yeah, we can do that at WrestleMania 41. But as for this year, to give you guys my two main predictions for the men's Royal Rumble matchup, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes would be number one, because I am 1000% in the boat of Cody versus Roman at WrestleMania, with Cody winning. But like I said earlier, I just prefer new winners. So if Cody wins, you can hear a complaint out of me. And it's honestly easier for Cody's story for him to win back-to-back Rumbles, for them to then try to find, or I should say, for them to try to get Cody into an Elimination Chamber and find a different way. Like, if Cody wins the Rumble, well, then there you go. He could just choose Roman Reigns. If Cody doesn't win the Rumble, it's a little bit more convoluted. I'm just saying CM Punk, because I prefer new winners. Punk's never won the Rumble, but if they do it vice versa, you ain't gonna hear a complaint out of me. CM Punk's gonna be my top pick, Cody number 2. Honestly though, if you want, like, that's like my pick with a little bit of just what I want. If you want what I think is more likely to happen, probably Cody winning and then Punk winning an Elimination Chamber match, which again, I'm all fine with. But Punk and Cody getting their respective title matches at WrestleMania, 1000% the way we need to go. And hopefully we set in that direction on Saturday night at the Royal Rumble. But again, a short card, only 4 matches announced, and I don't expect anything else to be announced. And I am also a fan that not many participants have been announced for either match. I think the women's match has like 5 superstars announced. The men's might have like 8. Great. I don't need everybody announced. I hate when, like, even last year they did it, because Vince was kind of still in there last year. There was like 23 people. Like most of the field announced for the Rumble. And like, that's lame. Even if it's just like, oh, Tyler Bate coming out there and he's just somebody on the roster. Like, I don't want to know. So like, I'm really pumped about that for Saturday night, that there's very few people announced for these Rumble matches. But it's going to be a great show. I'm sure it's going to be a ton of fun. Of course, we'll be here Saturday night or Sunday night for our review, so definitely stay tuned for that. And after that, we'll be on the road to WrestleMania, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot to talk about regarding that. But if you guys want to check out some more content regarding the Royal Rumble right here on the channel, just a few weeks ago, I did fantasy bookings for both the men's and women's Royal Rumble matchup, entrance number 1 all the way to 30, eliminations all the way through. Go check out those videos. But that is going to do it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to go follow me across all social medias at Noah Nation Vlogs, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.